As the late great Frank Sidebottom said, it is a great big place in London and they call it Wembley, and we know who the four teams who will be involved in the Challenge Cup and the 1895 Cup finals are. This is the Monday morning wrap-up from Forty20. Well, we'll round up the stuff in the regular season, if you will, first of all. League One on Saturday afternoon when everyone was at Bolton. Whitehaven edged out Hunslet 19 points to 12. Whitehaven top of the table, 4 points clear of Newcastle, but Newcastle have played a game fewer or less, I can't remember. Hunslet 5th on 18 points. In the Championship on Sunday afternoon, Rochdale led 12-8 at half-time, but lost to Dewsbury 32-12, so yes, you can do the maths, they lost 24-0 in the second half. Dewsbury 10th in the table. With that win, they move above Batley. Rochdale remain bottom with just one win from their 22 games this season, so relegation must be soon for Rochdale. Well, officially anyway, and Dewsbury continue to move away from the bottom end of the table. In the 1895 Cup, well, we said Dewsbury finished above Batley, and Batley are out, unfortunately. They just scored the 2 points. Sheffield 18. They go to Wembley for the first time since 1998, where they will play Widnes Vikings, who edged out Lee 12 points to 8 in a physical encounter. I think that's the polite way of saying it. Right, on to the main meat of this podcast, if you will, and it was the Challenge Cup semi-final weekend, and all the games held, of course, on Saturday at Bolton, all two of them. We'll come to the other game there in a moment. First of all, we'll get Halifax and St Helens out of the way. A valiant performance from Fax and all those kind of cliches, but in the end it was St Helens, the Super League leaders, the League Leaders Shield elect, who went through to the final. Described as a struggle, but I think they just did what they needed to do. We'll hear from Justin Holbrook in a moment, but first here's the Halifax coach, very pleased, Simon Griggs.
I've said all week we don't want to get beat on effort, and I don't think anyone's going to argue with that. They tried really hard, and the Saints lads, again, international after international in their team, and they'll all know they're in a game when they wake up in the morning, which yeah, we're pretty proud of that.
To go in at 8-2 at half time, are you having to deliver a team talk that you maybe didn't imagine you would have to deliver, saying we're still in this?
No, the result were never going to be, well, could have been a fairy tale, couldn't it? But look, the likelihood was we were going to get beat, but limiting it was kind of we hadn't really said it, but that was the thing for us really. And going in at 8-2, you know, we're in the game. We came up with a lot of errors as well, as did Saints. Saints play like that every week. They play dry weather rugby, in, you know, in whatever weather it is, and they back themselves. They come up with a few. We can't afford to do that, especially against a team like that, and we give them a bit too much possession early doors. But no, listen, their effort were brilliant, and half time was a happy one. I think they surprised themselves that, you know, everyone was talking about 60s, 70s being the scoreline, and going in at 8-2. Yeah, I think they should be really proud of themselves.
I know Halifax were on the losing side, but will they go out tonight and have a couple of beers to celebrate?
Go out tonight for the next couple of nights, I think. Look, it's a big thing for us. Championship team playing in a semi-final. I know Hull KR did it. I don't know how long ago it was, but they were full time as well. We're part time, so it's a big achievement. And yeah, they've definitely earned a beer or two, and a few of them will probably get a couple of days off work out of it as well. So yeah, the fans as well. They were great today, and we haven't seen a lot of that this year, as form's been pretty indifferent in between these cup rounds. Yeah, nice for them to have something to shout about today.
What was the thinking with all the short kick-offs and stuff? Just try and catch him out and just play?
Yeah, well, what do we have to lose? We've used the short kick-off a few times, had a bit of success this year ourselves. So yeah, and Scott's good at him. He's got a decent touch on it, and yeah, we come up with it. I think it surprised him the first time, and the second time I think they'll have been a bit annoyed the third time, and then yeah, they got him again. So I think Justin was sat about 10 metres across pulling his hair out by the time the third one went down. But yeah, it's one of them. Nothing to lose. Why not do the short kick off? You kick it to the end, you're getting Walmsley or Thompson firing back with a 20-metre run up. So I'd probably safer to go short, to be honest.
Aside from one kick out on the full as well, Scott pretty much led you quite well, didn't he? Pretty composed performance and full.
Scott Griggs, right? Yeah, yeah, we're good. Listen, that's why we're in team. His effort stuff, puts himself near the ball a lot, and his defence is really organised when he's back there. Yeah, I think for a little bit more composure across the board, I think we probably would have seen a bit more of Scott. We would have seen a bit more of Scott Morrell, Johnson, and so on. It goes like that. But yeah, he was good for us. But the list, it'll go on. Bob Fairbank had a really good dig. Brandon Moore, Ben Kay, keep going for you.
And I know you're obviously cut adrift from the playoffs now, but the challenge, I guess, is to continue this momentum from today and finish as well as you can in the championship.
Yeah, this is the story of our season. We've peaked for these big games. So London in the cup, Bradford in the cup, we've peaked. But in between the peaks, there's been quite a trough there, and it's been disappointing and it's frustrating still, even after a performance like that against a very good team for me. Because I'm thinking, what's going on here? How do we turn out next week? The effort will be there. I think it's always been there pretty much. But to win these games, and we've got to lose who aren't no mugs ourselves. We need to be good with the ball and finishing our sets much better than we did today.
Were you surprised that Saints took the penalty early doors? Was that a big sign of respect towards you and your team?
When they did that, tapped Damien next to me, and I thought that really classy of Saints, to be honest. I know that had been a message from Justin passed down, and I thought that really classy and showed us the respect. When it's all said and done, we deserved, didn't we? And that might have been a little shot in the arm for our boys as well.
Oh, just really happy to win. Obviously, semi-final. The main thing is you've got to win it to get to Wembley, and we've done that. So that's really pleasing.
Halifax proved to be a tough test for you at times.
Yeah, absolutely, and we expected that. I thought it was great that we won the game, but also good for the competition over here to have a championship side in the semi-final and to play as well as they did. I thought it was great. I thought they tried hard for the full 80 minutes, and as I said, it was good for Halifax for the championship level, but obviously for us, it's just happy to win it.
You show respect to them as well by taking the penalty goal early doors.
Yeah, I just knew it was going to be a tough day. They were always going to make it hard for us, and they're tricky games to play when you're the side that everyone says has already won the game. They're hard games to play, but in the end, it's a semi-final to get to Wembley, and that's what we had to keep coming back to. So and tough conditions in the end. The constant drizzle, and we tried to play a bit too much in the first half and didn't handle that really well, and settled down a bit better in the second half, which was great, and obviously defensively just terrific for 80 minutes. And that's,
there as well.
yeah, it's great to have Robes back. It's we're a much better side when he's out there, and it was good to have him out there.
You just need to be a bit more direct.
Yeah, it's hard, as I said. It's hard when you're playing a side you don't play during the year, and all of a sudden they're going to try different things and defend different ways and change it constantly. And when you're in attack, you can get a bit excited by that, and you're seeing things that aren't normally there week to week. And then we just tried too hard to look for those perfect plays, and they don't come around too often, and especially in those conditions. So in the end, second half settled down a lot better and got on with it.
But you're there now. That's a big
Yeah, exactly. You only got to win that one, and we all know we haven't been there for a long time, and then that's weighing on the boys' shoulders as well. So it's always a tough game. But I thought the outside backs did a great job, and in particular Mark Percival. I thought he was the best on the field tonight. I thought he was brilliant. Everything he did, he carried strong. He was great down the other end, and he defended really well. So I thought Percy was our best by a long way today.
Nice personally as well to be able to lead the team out at Wembley, having come so close on 2 occasions last year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, and that's when it all sinks in. It's hard as a coach at the time. You want to play better, but the fact that we're there, it'll be terrific, and looking forward to it.
Is there an injury issue to Lachlan?
Yeah. Curdy's still out. Yeah, he's just hurt his knee a couple of weeks ago. I think it's Wigan, so he'll probably be a couple more weeks out. Yeah.
So not next week.
No, he won't play next week. No.
Morgan Knowles.
Yeah, he a bit sore sort of ribs and that, so that he picked up last week. So.
Any update on the future?
No. We're just worrying about these games at the moment. They're coming thick and fast, so we'll just keep your head down and get on with that.
St Helens through, and they knew, of course, that they would face Warrington Wolves, who beat Hull FC 22 points to 14. First, we'll hear from Lee Radford, who says his team, well, they have just one target now, and that is Old Trafford.
Yeah, disappointed. Very disappointed.
Was it the kicking game that got you there?
A couple of things. I think territory, was big, but I thought they made the most from the results from their kicking game was far superior to ours today. And no frustration because we'd identified where the kicks was going to be placed and whose head they was going to put them on. But I thought we did a really good job of getting in front of the blokes chasing, but nobody actually got up for the football. And sometimes that's the difference between going to a final and not.
And yet you were mounting so much pressure right in that last 15-20. Did you think it was going to be on?
I thought the dropout. I thought look, I said it all week. There's now between the two sides, two very good sides. They both went all out. In big games like this, clutch plays are huge, and the error we made on play two in the semi, going with 3 minutes to go and all momentum in your favour. If you don't make those plays, you don't go to the final.
Got some good individual performances there for your team, wasn't it?
Massive. Like I said, effort outstanding for the roof. Performance I thought was really good. Day was really good as well. The difference was the results in the kicking game.
What was your main message to your players at half time?
We've got to front load our defensive efforts better. We're putting the ball off the island and getting set starts from a scrum. We can't allow that to be a 50-60 metre set on the ground. You just can't do that. If you're going to put the ball off the island, it's to freshen up and really front load your defensive efforts. And we didn't do that enough, unfortunately.
I guess not getting to Wembley makes it double important now to get to Old Trafford League.
Yeah, huge. I just said that now. That's eggs in one basket, and I'm pretty sure we'll come up against Warrington, towards the back end of the year, and possibly and Saints as well. So it's we've just got to zone in on that now.
Have you said anywhere to lift the players after that?
If you need lifting after just missing out, going to a semi-final, and like I say, all eggs in one basket, you're probably in the wrong profession.
Hull have their focuses forced to be set elsewhere. Warrington, though, are preparing to head back to Wembley. 22 points to 14 the win. Their captain, Chris Hill, was joined at the top table in the press conference by their coach, Steve Price.
Yeah, well, this time feels like we've just been invited to the wedding again. This time we want to be brides, not bridesmaids. I'm just really pleased for the boys.
Excellent, thanks.
We've had a rough couple of weeks, but a few speed ups along the way. But I always knew what type of team we had, and that typified what we represent today. We showed a huge amount of fighting spirit, and what our DNA and our foundation's been built on over the last 18 months. 18 months. We showed that in spades today, and it was one brutal game. It was a tough game of footy, and the most pleasing thing for me is we stayed at and never shied away from the plan.
Was it a late? How much of a late call was it to bring Steph Ratchford back? Was it a big call?
Yeah, it was a big call. It was a big call. Yeah, definitely. Yesterday, it was, last 24 hours, and when Charners went down with his, he had to, go down with his knee operation, but it's a credit to Steph. Like, he's done everything right in nine and a half weeks to turn around a torn pec. Unbelievable. Credit to our medical staff, also, and our high performance staff. All combined. I'm just really pleased for him. He's the ultimate professional and typified his performance today.
A big performance from Blake Austin as well. That's what you pay the money for, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's what you expected to do. But in saying that, all 17 contributed to a good performance, and it's not about individuality here. It's about team, and we show that in spades today, and credit to Hull. They had a big crack too, and it was seesawing end to end, and Sneed's kicking game was on song, but we had a lot of pressure too going with it, and I thought we showed a lot of pump today.
Steve, in terms of Joe Phil, that was a nice moment for him, wasn't it? A Warrington boy who sort of, in a star-studded team, and that he sums up the Warrington desire, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. We represented the badge today on what we expect, and Joe's try at the end there was an example of how we stayed at it until we broke him at the end, and he trains like that every session. I've seen Joe Philbin have one bad training session since I've been involved, and mate, he's been dishing up those type of performances over the last 18 months consistently, and I'm just really pleased for all the boys. But in saying that, we're not going to get carried away. We've still got a still got one game to go.
Chris, is it extra pleasing for the manner in which you won? Obviously, it's outstanding to go to Wembley, but the manner in which you've done it was such a tough battle in the middle in wet conditions against a side that have ultimately been very good in this competition over the last few years.
Yeah, I think probably them and Saints have been the form side the last 3 or 4 weeks. So as soon as the rain started, we knew it was going to be a forwards battle. And they've got an experienced pack and they've played really well. So now we know we've got it. We've got the belief between us. I think we've probably been laying each other down the last couple of weeks. So it was really pleasing to put a performance in like that. And thought our RS were outstanding. Thought Osto and Det really controlled the game and the kicking game. We were starting in right positions and really putting them under pressure. So credit to everyone.
How much desire is Steve to finally win at Wembley after losing last season?
Oh, it's huge. Everyone works their butts off since from November, and that's what you play the game for, to win major trophies, and we've got an opportunity to do that. But there's still a lot of hard work to do over the next 4 weeks to get it right, and we enjoy it for what it is. But we've got three Super League games to go, and then we get back into Challenge Cup mode. So it's exciting times for the club.
Can you fill us in fully on what's up with Josh?
Josh Charlie? Yeah, he had a scope yesterday, and he's just got a slight meniscal tear. So I don't seen it being a major issue, to be honest. But he's got a couple of weeks to get that right.
Has he got to have an operation, has he?
He's had it.
He's had it. Any other injuries picked up?
Today? No, we've pulled up pretty good, Matt. Maybe a few sore bodies from both camps, I'd say, for a few days, but we've come through the game pretty good, in good shape. And
Chris, are you trying to imagine yourself lifting that trophy, or can you not let yourself do that?
No, I'm not. Like you said, we've got 3 Super League games, we've got 2 back 2 now, and get a bit of form back in Super League. That's our aim now. And like Pricey said, we want to go and be the word that the guys made, and not won anything yet. Yeah, it's pleasing today, the performance we put in and the way we've done it, but we've not won anything yet, and the boys know that, and we'll be ready to go when the time comes.
So it's Warrington versus St Helens at Wembley on August something, 24th, 26th, somewhere around then. All the trains are off anyway, but only from the northeast. So it's bad for Yorkshire people, but there's no Yorkshire team in the final. But a Yorkshire team has won the Challenge Cup this season, of course, Leeds. You wouldn't believe it, would you? Underdogs. Castleford with a -16 handicap at the bookmakers. Unbeaten all season. Leeds win the final, as was ever thus, 16 points to 10. Let's get reaction from both camps then. You'll hear the voices of the Leeds captain and player of the match, Courtney Hill. She was sat alongside her coach, Adam Cuthbertson, and the Castleford Tigers coach is Lindsay Anfield.
Unbelievable. I'm just so proud of the effort of the girls. We came into the game underdogs. All the talks about Cass. And I just kept feeding them the same message last couple of weeks is, you got 80 minutes to go out there finals. You don't get a second chance at it. So we talked a lot about sacrifice, and I think the girls did that exactly. They went out there and they sacrificed themselves for the cause, for one another. They played selfless today, which resulted in a great victory.
Have you had a better defensive effort while you've been in charge?
Sorry, what was that?
Have you had a better defensive effort in the 2 years you've been in charge?
You know what? The one thing we talk about is just the desire to keep turning up for one another. I think today coming into to this game worked perfectly for us. We adjusted how we're going to play just a minor bit yesterday. Obviously, knowing it was raining makes the field a little bit more skinnier when the ball's as slippery as it was. So we adjusted a bit. The girls all bought in, and they just kept turning up. Set after set in defence, some of those efforts to bundle them over the touch when they're looking like dead set certain to score tries in the corner, it's just outstanding. You can't really coach that. You need girls to just have a genuine buy-in and that desire to keep turning up, and that's how big plays like that come.
Courtney, there was a lot of belief in the team. Obviously, when Nate Castleford scored fairly early on to go in front, you replied instantly. That was an important moment.
Yeah, definitely. I think momentum's a funny thing in this game, so we didn't want to give them too much of it, and particularly early on in the game. So the girls' reaction was fantastic. I knew, there was always going to be something on out there with Fran Goldthorpe, so kicking to her is always quite nice to kick it and sit back and watch what happens. So it was nice to reply, and then from there, it was a bit of a tug of war, really, wasn't it, at times? But yeah, just really proud of the girls to hold on, particularly through that last 15 minutes, I suppose, when we snuck our noses back in front to grind out the game. Nothing but pure heart in that last sort of 15-20 minutes. Yeah.
Last year I felt like we were probably the better team until the last 10 minutes, but today I thought that Leeds were the better team right from the start. I thought defensively they were absolutely outstanding, and we just couldn't break them down. Everything that we've been doing in training, they just went away from, and I think that was just due to Leeds' tough grafting D. So yeah, I can't be too disappointed really that they were deserved winners.
It wasn't a great deal in it, was there, throughout the game?
No, it was pretty nervy, and I just think that we just went out and went away from everything that we've done all season. Whether they thought it might be a little bit easier than it was, I don't know. But a few individuals probably didn't show up today, which is disappointing, and their big game players really did show up for them, so credit to them.
Is it, obviously you've had some big wins this season. Do you think that was a factor when it was a tough game?
Yeah, I think probably the past 4 games we've won pretty convincingly, and then going into a real tough game like this on a big stage, you do kind of want more match fitness. Leeds probably had a better draw in terms of playing Saints twice, so it were 2 tough games, 2 high pressure games. So maybe in that sense they had better game management, but no complaints. On the day they were better.
The semi-final especially, when we played Saints, I think that was a good feeler for us, a good sort of more or less you got to sometimes get yourselves in those sort of situations and to know how to go win a game, and we got a good chance to go do that in the semi-final. I wouldn't like to win like that. They're brilliant because the range of emotions, and you really feel like you've won a game. But I think the hair count at the top of my head says otherwise. But I think going forward, you do need that. You need that those sort of games to get that sort of character throughout the squad, so they understand how to go win games in tough situations. And I think that definitely has helped. In today's performance, because it was back and forth the whole game basically, and they could have very well won it. They've got enough class players in that team to go win it in that last 10 minutes. But we've been in that situation. We're experienced now a number of times, and we went out there and we just kept turning up, kept believing.
There were only 3 penalties in the entire game. Do you think that helps with the spectacle?
Yeah, I did. I think I shouted for a penalty more times than the crowd, but no, yeah, it did, and it got to like the last 10 minutes, and I looked at the score, and I was looking at the spectators, and I just thought, take my cast hat off. This is fantastic for Women's Rugby League, and there were people wearing Warrington fans cheering, and that's what it's all about, and that's the whole point of playing it today, is to promote the game. And if we were part of that, then I'm happy for it. No, I thought the ref was really fair today. It was a really slow rub, but it was slow for both sides. Probably a few contentious things on either side, but no complaints with any decision.
As soon as I saw Danny Anderson with the ball in her hand, she is incredible. For the size of the girl playing up front, she always finds a way to just, bust through that tackle, free a little arm. And as soon as I saw her go, I saw, my eyes lit up, and I thought, go with her. And to be honest, she just timed that, offload perfectly to me. My job was easy, run a couple metres and slide across the wet grass, which is always fun. So, yeah, look, Danielle Anderson scored that try. I just finish him off.
Adam, 2 seasons now, back-to-back Challenge Cup wins. Both occasions the captain scored the crucial try. You've got to take all the credit for that, sure.
With these finals, I said it before, it's not about the elaborate big plays. It's not about the shifts. It's about that willingness to keep turning up for one another. You'll get opportunities in these big games. It's whether you capitalise on them or not. I think the try Courtney scored from Danielle Anderson, that wasn't nothing. we'd practiced all week. That was just pure heart to run through the opposition, and then the desire to turn up for your teammate. You coach all these little things, but you need the girls to believe in it and keep turning up for one another like they did, and those moments are grand final moments and what make games such as that.
Would you like to see more of these curtain-raising games, Lindsay, in the future?
Yeah, I would. I think it introduces the game to more people. You know, when it's just a standalone game, you just get women's fans and that's it. But to be able to, you know, for the rest of the rugby league community to see what women's rugby league's all about, it's important that we showcase it on a wider stage, yeah.
A lot was made in the build-up to the game about Holly Dodd winning after her 16th birthday. It was tough for her out there, but she certainly showed glimpses of.
She definitely did, yeah. You know, we threw her in on the wing, and she's not a winger. She's a second row. She likes to play in the middle, but we were not. You know, she's only trained with us for a few months, and she hasn't played any games. Wing was probably a good place for her to start, and you know, Leeds identified that, kicked to her quite a few times, got a little bit of joy, but I think she held her own, and you know, I was really impressed with her today. I thought she didn't particularly let the pressure get to her, and yeah, I thought, to be fair, I thought she was probably one of our better players today.
There's been a lot of media build-up to the game this year, probably more than you've been used to in the past. Was that difficult to deal with going into the game with people wanting interviews with players? And
yeah, for me, like, it's turned into the past 3 weeks has been like a full-time job doing this, and obviously I'm voluntary, so it has been pretty overwhelming. There's been quite a lot of controversy around the club, which I've had to deal with personally, and it hasn't been particularly nice, a lot of it. It has been quite stressful. In terms of how we played, it had no effect on how we played. You know, I've kept the players out of it. We've trained hard. You know, after we won the semi-final, we put a plan in place. No stone unturned. We'll do absolutely everything possible to win this game today, and it hasn't come off. So we couldn't have done any more.
And where did you go from here? Kind of bouncing back forward?
Yeah, well, we've got Bradford next week, so we'll have another tough week in training. We've got 2 big games at the Jungle, Bradford and Wigan, and then we've got Leeds at Headingley. So I think we'll forget about this pretty quickly and start looking towards the end of the season.
I'm loving sort of sitting back. I suppose I'm not sitting back, I'm part of it. But watching the game grow over here, and hopefully that transition is through to professionalism. It's a really exciting period, and particularly given you guys are going to host. I say you guys, I'm over here now, isn't it? We in England are going to host the World Cup in the very near future. So, you know, moments like today and hosting World Cups are only going to do wonderful things for the women's game. And I'm just so proud to be a part of it, and particularly with a club like the Leeds Rhinos. You know, they're a global brand in the rugby league world, in the sporting world. And I couldn't think of a better club to be a part of this women's rugby league journey with.
Well, the men have a vacancy for a coach. Your outstanding record, are you going to stick your CV in?
Still enjoying playing at the minute, and part-time coaching. So don't put me on that sort of pressure.
Now, obviously, on 4020 Live, there's no bias. There's 2 of us who don't like Leeds and 2 of us who do like Leeds. But that only extends to the men. We like the women's team. They're quite good, as proven. They win back-to-back Challenge Cups, and it was an emotional one for one of our favourites, Danica Prim, and I caught up with her after the game at pitchside.
I said I wanted to see you with a shiny medal. You've got one. How does it feel to be a Challenge Cup final winner on the field?
Oh, do you know what? I'm still a little bit emotional. I think the final whistle went and I just burst into tears. You know, 3 years I've waited. I've been in, 3 Challenge Cups, twice as an injured spectator, always supporting the girls. But to get out there today and I think I put in a good shift as well. I'm quite happy with my performance, and it was a tough game. The best opponents to come up against, and to be the best, you got to beat the best, and that's what we did today. And I think credit goes to our girls and that defence on the try line.
Everyone said the pressure was on Leeds going into this final. You were the defending champions. They were the big overwhelming favourites. You've upset the odds again today, and it's always Leeds. You always end up with silverware.
So be it. I think we're quite a humble team in the fact that, we had a lot of pressure coming in terms of being the holders, but they were favourites to go in. But our mindset was very much our game, our way. They've got some phenomenal players, don't get me wrong. They've got some standout England. 2021 is going to be full of Tigers. You can't discredit them. They're phenomenal. But when we play as a unit and as a team, which is what I think we did today, there was some great individual performances, but generally we played as a team, and that defence, I think, we got some good ball and attack. Attack was phenomenal. It was great. We're composed. But that defence was just, we were on our try line for such a long time, but we didn't get them through. So, great set of girls.
You were watching on the sidelines when Castleford nilled you at the Jungle earlier in the season. It must have been sweet, A, for that defence, as you say, but B, to get that win, to get that trophy back again.
Do you know what? Challenge Cup's a really weird thing, and we've got them in a couple of weeks in the league, and that might turn up a different result again. But today was about today, and at Challenge Cup, we've got Halifax playing later on. That shouldn't really happen by the book. So anything can happen on a Challenge Cup day, and they are just brilliant. But we've got the silverware, we've got it back again, and we get to keep it for another year.
It's absolutely chucking it down. So last one from me. Obviously, you're not bothered. You don't care. I'm the one who's soft in the rain. All the setbacks over the years. Obviously, you wouldn't want to go through that again. But was it worth it to wait that long to get that trophy around your neck?
Without a shadow of a doubt, yeah. Without a shadow of a doubt. Do you know what? A win with the girls is better. A win when you've waited 3 years is just unbelievable. I just can't believe it. I think I haven't got any words to put into it, but I've worked really hard to be on that pitch today. And for the first time in my life, I'll say I earned it. So.
Final one. How are you going to celebrate this?
Probably a little cup of tea, a biscuit. Probably just have a bit of stretch off, rehab, and a couple of glasses.
Usually players come off the pitch, they smell of sweat. You stink of champagne, you must be all over you.
Somebody's got to take it, haven't they? I'd rather smell of champagne than sweat.
Leeds win the Challenge Cup. Will Warrington or Saints win the men's one? We'll find out in a few weeks' time. That was the 4020 Monday morning wrap-up. Shorter than usual, which is good. Less work for me too. Back Monday night from 6 to talk all the events in Rugby League. I'm sure there'll be some drama off the field to talk about. There always is. John Davidson from the By the Balls podcast and League Weekly will be joining us in the studio. Make sure you're with us from 6. Otherwise, just join us on the podcast, which will be up as well later on Monday evening. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do all those things you're supposed to do on social media. But mainly, join us again next time.